That music has been hitting hard lately for us. Hello, welcome to The Real Deal, a Real Madrid podcast with me, Jarod Hector, joined as always by Loconte and Taalib after Real Madrid's 4-0 win over Valencia at the Bernabeu. What's up, fellas?
Yo, what's up?
Pretty easy game, so life's pretty good.
Loconte, on Friday, we talked about this. I said, man, I just want like a 3-0, 4-0 win. No drama, just easy. We can get people rotated in. And lo and behold, look what happened.
Finally, really. One game. That's all what we asked. One.
I'm looking at the comment in the chat here. And as always, guys, thank you for watching the stream. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share it with your friends. This is also going to be available on Apple and Spotify for the audio version only later if you want to listen back. A comment here in the chat. A nice, calm, professional performance, right? And sometimes that's all you want. You want your weekend. You want your team to just play, win, move on so we can get on with our lives and worry about the next match we have coming up. And that's what we saw, right? Taalib, you came in and said just a nice, calm performance, no controversy.
Yeah, easy game, especially in the first half. Madrid completely dominated this game. Valencia didn't really give anything in this game. They just sat back and Madrid dominated possession, and game was pretty much over by the end of first half.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, honestly, it could have been like 5-0 in the first half. I mean, we could have really put this game away. Should have. I mean, story of our lives with this club of the season, right? It's like the underlying. We're like, come on, man, you got so many shots. Little underlying metrics for everybody for this match. We had 65% of possession. We had a 2.8 xG to their 0.46. They had 35% possession. We created 4 big chances. They created none. 21 total shots. They had 4. We had 1 Courtois save. They had 7 corner kicks to 1. It was just complete and utter domination. A team that looked like it wanted to let everybody know, Loconte, okay, you think because we beat Barcelona, we're going to come in and take our foot off the gas and not give a shit about Valencia. Now we're going to bury this team and show that we're ready. And we have the right air of confidence as we head into Champions League on Tuesday.
Yep, I mean, ultimately, on paper, Valencia stood no chance. Their form and everything, right? But there is one thing. They beat us at the Bernabeu last year after not having won an away game at all that season. So we have tendencies of doing that. Removing that completely was really a big thing, and being that comfortable adds even more. They're kind of our buggy team anyways, and we know that.
Yeah, I thought it was just, again, from the opening whistle, and we'll talk about the lineups. One change from the last match, Massantuano back in the starting lineup, so Camavinga started the match on the bench. Looked like he might have to come in super early when Arda twisted his ankle, and he was subbed off at halftime, and I think probably just out of extra precaution because we know that in any match, much less a big match coming up on Tuesday, Arda is an undisputed starter, so we can't afford to have him have any issues. And again, that opening half, Mbappe looks spry. We get the penalty. He scores. We go up 1-0. And then we see Loconte. You know, one of the comments that I think people are wondering were, can you play a midfield with Arda and Jude together, right? They're both kind of like this occupying the same space kind of thing in at 10s. Is that going to work? And I think, as you and I always talk about, it's matchup dependent, right? Against a team like Valencia, nobody needed to sit back with Tchouaméni because they weren't doing anything. So Arda and Jude could be higher up the pitch, and we were totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly like a repetition of the way how they did to Barca, just a different team. This was more against a low block, but Arda and Jude are perfect players to actually have. As I said, between the lines, both of them occupy the center backs, and that allows Mbappe to just have a little bit more freedom and get higher quality of chances. You saw that once Arda went off at halftime, Mbappe had to drop a little bit more, so that was, of course, diminishing the quality of the chances. You mentioned the XG at the start, which we had 2.2. At halftime, and it only went to 2.8. I mean, I'm saying only as if, but this has become our norm. Not many teams do this, but our norm is that now. So Arda and Jude, as far as it goes, especially for El Clasico in Valencia, as good as they can be, literally as a tandem.
Yeah, what did you see from them, Taalib, on the pitch today?
The energy, right? So again, what we saw in the Barca game was Madrid dominating in terms of energy, getting to the ball first, a lot of pressing. Jude is probably one of those players who's equivalent to two players on the pitch. So he gives pretty much everything when it comes to pressing from the midfield. He takes the ball vertically moving forward. And then Winnie doesn't have to be the standalone guy on the left side and just doing all the work trying to dribble past players. That's where Jude really comes in, connects with Winnie. And I think Arda, that injury maybe luckily that didn't get worse, but I think
Yeah.
he had an excellent game also, dictated the game. Overall, midfield was completely bossed by Real Madrid. I don't see anything bad about today's game. It was completely pretty easy, straightforward.
Yeah, that first half was great. Jude gets the pass. Arda immediately makes that run, right? And Jude sees him, has his head up, right? And it's funny because again, we talked about this I think on the Friday show, Loconte. I don't know what it is about Goulet that seemingly either teams don't think about him or it's Mbappe dragging people away. Arda kind of always finds himself with a little bit more space around him than most of the players in Madrid. So he gets in behind. Kylian's got a guy on him, but Arda's able to get the ball. And when the fullback finally closes down on him, he's able to get the pass off to Mbappe, who does a beautiful volley with his left hand. I thought that timing on Arda's run was just brilliant because I think he caught the defense napping.
Yeah, I mean, one thing with Arda is the fact that his level of IQ is really high. The fact that he's able to pick those pockets of space every single time. Let that be, as you said, freeing himself up as he understands the gravity of the other attacker, or playing that pass because the defender has committed to him, which is either way, it's very dangerous. And Arda really makes a big case for himself as to why he's a starter and has been ever since the Club World Cup. There are still some issues with him, like the over dribbling sometimes in deep areas, which we saw, but that can be phased out. What you can't really get from this team or any player on this team is Arda's level to be at every single moment and into any switch of momentum, I would really want to say.
Yeah, he does a really good job of making himself available for his teammates at all times, right? To either get them out of trouble, receive present, often, as you mentioned, in a space where, oh, look, I have space here, release to me, right? Like your point about his reading the game. That's one of the things that pro players in any sport, right? At the youth level, you play, right? You play the game. The preternatural people like Arda, they read the game, right? Because they understand where movements are happening, where my opportunities are, where we can take advantage, where we can have a numerical superiority. And he's really, really good at that. And again, to your point, he has made himself indispensable, right? It's funny. The whole thing this season was, people were, I mean, not us, but the talk was, we're unsure if Arda can play in big matches. I'm like, well, there was no sample size. How do you know if he can play in big matches when he's barely played in any? Well, now we have a good enough sample size, right? I think that
Madrid fan is not reactionary. God forbid.
What helps also is compared to last season, we have players playing very close to each other. So you have a nice line. You have players passing. If we lose the ball, they counter press very quickly, get the ball back, and then you have two players coming closer, helping each other out. So I think Jude being there with Arda, it's just that makes it even easier for Arda to move forward.
They're a nice compliment to each other, an excellent compliment. And again, it's how Xabi is deploying them tactically. Before we get to the third goal, I want to talk about Vinny, who I thought, even though he didn't score today, I thought he had a very good game. Again, protagonist. I'm sure he had another 6 carries into the penalty area, like increasing his lead in that. Like we talked about it the last show, right? Loconte, he leads everybody across all 5 leagues by three times as much as a second place person. He didn't do anything different today in that regard.
You know what I actually liked, especially at the beginning, was the fact that we were trying some new tactical setup. Like we tried that new thing of a dribble, a pass on the wide, and then we were trying to hit either Valverde or Masantuano on the flank. Mm-hmm. The passes from Vini were most of the time overhit or underhit, like they weren't weighted properly, but this was the first time that we're actually seeing it on the pitch. So to add more to that level of creativity, that is something that they're working on now, and we're going to see more of it. And this also goes to the other point, which was Arda and Jude being like the 2 number 10s, if we really want to call them. Mbappe's gravity and ability to get defenders with him, that will always open space. And Alonso has noted that and he's trying to make use of it. I think that's why he started Masantuano. He wanted somebody that's going to make more runs off the ball and give the team a little bit of an edge. I really like the fact that today we had two inverted fullbacks, but one was high and one was low. Carreras was very low to form that three at back if we really want, and Valverde was mostly playing like a midfielder for the first half, which added that extra body. But this doesn't happen and doesn't work if Franco Mastantuano, for time being on the squad, is not on the pitch. That's worth noting because he seemingly has the only physical profile to be able to deal with that kind of load.
Yeah. And look, it's no coincidence, right, that he was immediately put back into the starting lineup today. It'll be interesting to see what Xabi Alonso does on Tuesday at Anfield, but we'll get to that. The third goal, Bellingham, as many of the anti-Madridistas like to say about him, the tap-in merchant. I'm like, oh, that didn't look like a tap-in to me, folks. That was outside the penalty area. Once again, Bellingham just showing, why he's the best midfielder in the world, right? Like, just he has incredible technical skill. It was great, hard, low shot. Goalie had no chance. Really, at that point, once it was 3-0, I was like, honestly asking, okay, are we going to rotate? Who are we rotating? Everybody out? Who's getting rest to start the second half?
Yeah, so I think that was
Add like 5
typical
lineups.
Jude magic from the left-hand side, right? Like just with his right foot, perfect shot to the corner of the goal. I think anybody couldn't have done it better than him.
Oh, yes. And a shout out to Valverde for an excellent switch of play to get it over to Jude to do that. Yeah, this is what we saw Jude do 2 years ago, right? Basically every match, right? Just come down on that left side, get onto his right foot, and just bury it bottom corner. We saw some changes at halftime, right? We had Tchouaméni come off because he had the yellow. But I thought nice for him to get a little bit of rest too. With the big match coming up on Anfield. We talked about Arda coming off as well because the ankle, they wanted to be careful about that. So we had Ceballos and Camavinga come on replace for them. And to your point, Loconte, there's two things, right? Without Arda, the chance creation wasn't as great, but we still kind of bossed that midfield area, right? In terms of controlling possession, right? Again, Valencia didn't really do anything and couldn't really do anything, right? And this is an area, I think, for our players like a Camavinga, and it was mentioned on the broadcast, which we all know here, he's still only 22. Is there an area of his game where he can improve? And it's when there's an opportunity, he gets the ball in spaces where he actually can advance forward, right? And maybe shoot it, maybe pat, right? Like just getting a little bit more reps in those areas, Loconte, so he's able to create chances for us from the midfield position.
Yeah, that Jude pass to Mbappe in El Clasico, for example, he had that opportunity to do the same thing, but he took that extra touch. Of course, Camavinga, again, suffers from a lot of positional changes, different roles, so we gotta give it time, but you would hope that that's going to come with time. And also, one other thing that I'm really loving is the fact that Alonso doesn't see him as a sitting defensive midfielder, but actually put Ceballos in with him and went like, you can run riot here because I know you can do a bit of everything. Not stagnating him, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you see from Camavinga, Taalib?
I think Camavinga, he didn't have to make too many tackles because Madrid pretty much dominated the possession, right? 65%, I think it was 28% of Valencia, right? So he wasn't that ball beating midfielder. He just had to play with Ceballos, and I think Ceballos did most of the work. I think that kind of took the pressure off Camavinga in the middle. So he just did his normal thing. He passed the ball nicely, horizontally, not too many vertical runs or vertical passes. So that was again Jude being there doing Jude thing, right? So I think a normal 7 out of 10 game for Camavinga, nothing extraordinary, but doing the Tchouaméni role a little bit, trying to get the ball back when they lose it.
Were you guys surprised that Xabi went for Hausen off instead of Militao? I thought he'd go for Militao first, as he's the one coming off. I mean, they're both coming off injury, but Militao being older and 2 ACLs, that would be the one I would lean towards and opt first. But I mean, listen, Xabi knows more about football than I do, so whatever.
I would have hoped for Trent coming in, getting some minutes for
Well,
Fede. I mean, that's what I was
we're
expecting.
going to get to, let's get to that now. I was surprised Trent got no minutes, which to me tells me he's not playing at Anfield on Tuesday.
He's not.
How can that be his first match, right? Like, that's just
Like, if he got injured against Marseille on that level of intensity, then think of a game against Liverpool at Anfield. To me, might be a tactical move to get him out of international break. 2 more games and you're in survival. Could
I
be
like
that.
it.
You
I
lost
like it.
Carvajal already for roughly 2 months.
Mhm.
Roughly in and out, it's 2
Mhm.
months. So yes, I think that it could be a tactical move where you go like, okay, Tuchel is going to call Bellingham.
Right.
Least they could do here is protect Trent.
Keep Trent.
Mhm.
So Trent gets to do what you did last break, which is okay. I don't get to go, but I will train hard for these 2 weeks and be ready once we come out of the break. Yeah, that's yeah. Madrid being smart. I mean, this is what you got to do.
I don't know how Fede is going to get replaced by Trent, because Fede has been pretty amazing. I think him being at right back, he's got that speed to cut off defenders. He gets to the ball first. So I don't know if Trent is that athletic as Fede. I don't think so. So when
Definitely not as fast.
Definitely not fast. So against tough teams, I think with no Carvajal, I don't know who's going to start, Fede or Trent. I think it's going to be Fede anyways.
Let me pull up our schedule after the break to see.
Yeah, there are
what we got
5
going
away
on.
games, starting with Liverpool. Rayo next week.
Rayo,
It's
yeah.
Anfield, Rayo, it's Elche,
Mhm.
Olympiacos, and then we go back. We're back in Bernabeu now in December.
Yep.
4th of
That's
December,
exactly right.
if I'm correct.
Yeah, so
Yes.
and that'll be interesting, right? Elche, Olympiacos, and Girona all away when we come out of the international break. So that will be interesting, right? To see what Xabi Alonso does. Where does Trent fit
Girona
into
game
those
is actually, just to
lineups?
add, Girona game is breaking the protocol. It's 72 hours post the other game,
Oh,
and you're not allowed
right.
to do that.
You're
Yes, it's
right. It
breaking the
is.
protocol.
It is. It
Yes.
is. Yes, you are correct. Wow. Well, I mean, it's La Liga. I mean, right? Like, are we surprised?
I thought it was just interesting to bring it up because it's so far away from now, but it's still breaking a protocol regardless, and they knew that for a very long time.
Classic La Liga nonsense, right? Like always. That second half, again, for me, there wasn't a whole lot to say there. What I will say is this. I do think Asensio has put himself back into good graces, for lack of a better term, right? Where Xabi's like, okay, I trust you again. What happened in the Club World Cup's over. And that's important for us because with the match fixtures and with the injuries we already have, I still don't know the timeline on Alaba and Rudiger to return. We're going to need Asensio to give Militao and Housen some rest here because we know Housen's getting called up for Spain 1,000%.
Mm-hmm. And Militao with Brazil, very likely.
And
what I'll say is Asensio was great. That duel on Danjuma was excellent. He knew how to plant his foot. He knew how to shape his body. What I didn't like, though, is him turning his back on Guerra's shot, which almost resulted into a goal. Look, I'll say this, ground rule of football. That pain that you're going to feel when the ball hits you, it's going to last like a minute at most. The pain of you conceding a goal and it being your fault lasts for much longer, especially in lower margins. So I don't like seeing that. At any point, I don't care about the scoreline. So I'll say
that's
that.
A good point. That's a good point.
He's not going to start any of the big games, so he's probably going to get some rest with some of the smaller teams. But the big test, I think, for Dean and also for Asensio when it comes to big opponents who, we saw that Atletico game, right? When there was ball coming in aerially, and that's where we struggled. So I think Dean and Asensio need to probably face some of these kind of games, and then that's a real test. So who's gonna? Militao is super. He's back. He's back to best. So we know we can trust him. Even against Liverpool, I'm a little worried the way Liverpool plays corners, free kicks against Van Dijk. At the back, I'm just a little going to be concerned on the Dean starting, even though I know he's big, he's tall, but can have his limitations when it comes to aerial ability.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Liverpool in a second. I want to talk about Endrick briefly. It was short minutes, not a ton, but man, he showed some pace, drawing that yellow card, the stuff that you were talking about preseason, Loconte. You're like, I want to see him. And it's just a matter of, bro, like you're playing behind the best player in the world, so who's almost never going to get subbed off. So you're probably not going to get to play, right? And it's clear that Xavi's not going to put him on the right side, right, as a right winger. So your only options are going to be to play, right. Like it's to play behind, it's play the 9 role, which again, Mbappe is rarely going to get subbed off, rarely. So this is the reality, but
it's TBD what Xavi decides to do with him. I think. Because of the subs, he could have not taken Vini out and then taken Franco Mastantuano out, and basically there's your right wing. But
over there.
I think he was caring way too much about the Anfield game to the point where I find it hard to draw a conclusion here. But on positive note, his physical levels looked incredible.
Yes,
the pressing, the fact that he was still holding defenders off. Like, when was the last time he's played? Like 7 months ago now? Something like that?
He was injured in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's almost like, and I forgot how strong he is. Like in that, and from the base, like it's we were talking about like it's easy to bump Art off the ball. Well, it ain't easy to bump Endrick out of a spot. Like he can hold people off because he is very strong from the waist down, like extremely strong. And that pace, he looks so quick. I was like, man, Xavi, can we find a way to get this man some minutes, please?
He's not a bit taller. He's your Wembenyama, literally.
He's not very mobile, so I think that's where the problem is when you're playing against this mid-low block. He kind of stays in the front, and I noticed that unless if it's a counter-attacking play, then Endrick can run and pretty much beat anybody on pace, right? So we need to see him play against low block, be more agile, be more mobile at the front, trying to come back till we get the ball. So we players play very closely in this team. So Endrick, I think, needs to adapt that game against open teams like Valencia today, right? I think that was a counter-attacking play when Endrick was running, right? He will get his chances. But other than that, I think even last season, he wasn't moving that much on the pitch. And that's what I thought maybe he needs to do a little bit more.
I think that comes with time, right? Like, sadly, he needs playing time to get better at that. And
100%.
I don't know when that's going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see is what happens come January, the January transfer window, right? Are the reports that have been circulating around in fact true when he gets to and he goes to Lyon, or does Xavi say no with Copa del Rey and all this stuff coming up? I see opportunities for you to play, right? And I think, ultimately, because I think the club obviously believes in him and wants him to be a part of what they do. They wouldn't have invested the money otherwise. But a player like him, in order for him to get better and get certain things out of his game, he needs minutes, right? He has to get on the pitch. And in a weird way, Lyon probably works because I think they're second in Ligue 1 right now behind PSG. So it puts you in a team that's in a title race in theory, right? Like you'll get minutes. Like that could be very beneficial for him. So we'll see. Let's put it this way. If he starts for Lyon, that's way better than you don't know if you're getting 300 minutes this year at Real Madrid, right? It's just way, way better for him.
Yep. I mean, they're going to have to decide on the loan whether it's the right move or not. Maybe the training ground here just helps him more than the minutes there, maybe. But again, he's going to need to know at the very least that he's going to get something out of this team, and he's not going to be left just wondering what's going to happen with his minutes every single game.
And by now we know Xavi's starting 11 plus who's the subs who's are going to come in, right? So when the starting 11 is just as a much higher quality in terms of pretty much everyone playing to Xavi's tactics. So when you have, and then you have subs like let's say Camavinga, Rodrigo,
Brahim,
yeah. So pretty high standard, and it's hard to get into that Xavi's mix, right? So I think I don't see much.
I mean, look at Club World Cup hero Gonzalo Garcia. How many minutes he had this year?
I was going to say that he disappeared again, right? So again, that space of quality linking to his tactics, I think is maybe that's what that they need to adapt to Xavi's tactics more, and that's what players have done, and that's improved them.
Yeah. All right. Let's look ahead to Tuesday at Anfield. So the players will have 72 hours really before they play. I believe Xabi said they're going to train at Valdebebas and then go to England, as opposed to flying to England and training there. Pros and cons for that, but sure, keeps you out of the London whatever, and you stay home, and then we get there and we just go to our hotel, and then we show up at the pitch, do our little walkthrough, and then we play. Liverpool, I never want to say a professional team throws a match, but what I saw in the Carabao Cup on whatever weekday it was, I was like, what the hell is this garbage? Right? Like, it just threw out some lineup that I'd never seen before. They got waxed. So I was like, oh, you clearly don't care about that match. Okay. They played today against Aston Villa, 1-2-0. I think Salah scored today. And look, despite their play in Premier League, this is still one of the top clubs in the world. It is a Champions League match away. This is not going to be an easy walkover. So let's share some. We do have by the way, I don't want to step on Sid's toes. We have a Liverpool preview with Josh Williams up on the site. You guys check it out. But early thoughts, Loconte, on going into this matchup against Liverpool.
Going to Anfield is never easy, and it's not going to be easier this time around. I think we're equipped to handle it. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be able to fully handle everything. As you said, the decision not to train there is a little bit weird. I don't really know the full context of it.
Yeah.
But I don't see a big curveball being thrown to Liverpool for some reason. So, yeah, like, not an easy game by any means. I think that you're going to face a very physical game. I'm not going by the trope. I just think how Liverpool play. They're very physical. So they're going to test your energy levels, your press, your low block. They're going to test you in every single thing. So you need to be there. Can you beat them? Yes, but you actually need to be there and you can't clock off.
Do you think we basically start the Barca 11? Let's start against Barca in that match.
Yes.
What about you, Taalib?
Yeah, I think probably no Mastantuono. So I just want to talk about Mastantuono. I know he ran a lot today, but didn't provide too much in attack. So I don't know if he's going to play the Liverpool game. So he played 90 minutes today, right? So
yeah, he's not starting Liverpool.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
I think Brahim probably on the right side, probably coming back.
Or does he do Camavinga again like he did in the Barca match? So he goes Goulet, Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga, and Valverde at right back.
Yeah.
And yep.
I think I think maybe because you need Camavinga to break up the play, right? If Liverpool is dominating in the midfield, you need somebody to break it up.
We need our monsters in that physical match.
We lost 2-0 last season, right? If I remember.
Yep,
and that was Liverpool was much better than us last season. So I think
with a penalty miss.
Right. Mbappe, I think.
Mbappe.
So I think there's something, a little bit of a comeback revenge game in the minds of Real Madrid, I think. So and we are so much better than last season in terms of pressing, in terms of tactics, in terms of synergy between the players. So I have a good feeling about the Liverpool game.
Well, no doubt Xabi's already watched Liverpool, and he has a tactical idea of how he wants Madrid to attack them to take advantage, right? I have no doubt that's already been done. And so it's about now when he goes to the board, this is how we're going to do it tomorrow or Tuesday, I guess, because they might be off tomorrow. But they might just do walkthrough tomorrow, and then Tuesday do like actually on the pitch, because we don't have that. It's not that much time between the game. Sunday, Monday is really all we have.
The only thing maybe I'm worried is the Anfield crowd when it comes to some of these young players like Dean and maybe Arda, maybe
it'll be loud.
Yeah, it'll be loud. There'll be again. Remember against we haven't lost an away game this season, right?
Atleti was away.
I was going to say that. So Atleti, right? So that was a complete shit show, right? So I don't want that crowd to dominate the minds of some of these players. So that's the only concern I have.
What about you, Loconte?
I mean, crowd does play a part, but these guys are playing literally on a roofed, closed stadium. So the noise inside the Bernabeu, I think, gets them ready for that. The reason why I went with the 11 of the El Clasico is the fact that Liverpool don't want to be stretched on the left side at all, like Milos Kerkez, which we have seen, and also Cody Gakpo, who are their two starters. I would assume maybe he goes with Isak and Ekitike. I'm not sure,
I think
but
isn't Isak hurt still? Did he get? I thought I don't know.
I think he's fit.
Okay.
I just don't think he's starting.
Okay.
When I say fit, I mean like not carrying an injury,
Right.
but not necessarily the most match fit that he can be due to lack of preseason and all of that. But the reason why I go, I just think that Liverpool are way too narrow on the left, so there isn't much of a fear of that overlap hitting on you. So you just go more narrow, try to stop their best ball progressor, which would be McAllister, and you go from there basically. So yeah.
We have Gokoya in the chat saying Isak wasn't even on the bench today. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
just
you might
looking
be
at
injured. I
the.
apologize.
I'm just looking at today's lineup. There was only one substitution made for Liverpool. That was Wirtz coming in for Ekitike.
Yeah.
If that's pronunciation. But so everybody pretty much played 90 minutes, except except one player.
Yeah, and John Spenya in chat mentioned one more stop on the revenge tour on Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, look, players remember this stuff, right? No doubt Madrid remembered Barcelona handing it to them 4 times last season and went into this Clasico with a point to prove. No doubt they remember getting humbled by Liverpool at Anfield last year and want to reverse the trend and keep up their streak of like, hey, you guys say we're not ready for big games, right? Like, we're going to show you we're ready for big games, right? So the guys are going to want to win this for sure. And I think their mindset, again, we talked about it since Atleti. They were embarrassed, and I think, and they know it, and they felt it, and they were like, "Look, we cannot show up to matches like this again. We're going to lose again." As Javi said, right after the PSG lost, the sad part is we know we're going to lose again, and that's fine because you can't win every match, but you cannot lose it in the manner in which you lost that match, with people just giving up and being like, "Fuck it, whatever," doing our own thing, right? So I think the mindset for sure will be there on Tuesday. Really quick, I wanted to go back to the match, and I forgot to mention this. So when we drew the second penalty on Carreras, Vinny got the penalty, and Mbappe let Vinny take it. To me, I didn't care. It didn't bother me. Like the reason why I'm bringing it up is I feel like if there's anything that mainstream media is going to use this week to try to stir shit up, that's the only thing they can do, right? Is say, oh, did Xabi Alonso say it was okay for Mbappe to give Vinny the penalty shot? But to me, I didn't care. It was what it was. Nice gesture by Mbappe.
Yeah, to be honest, he was on a hat trick. I understand why. Cheer him up, probably expected to celebrate with him. Didn't go that way.
Didn't happen. Yeah.
I would have still let Mbappe take it. Being personal. It's a hat trick. Yeah. It's just game over. Yeah. And that's
I'm not very happy with penalties this season. There's somebody missing at least 1 or 2 penalties, so I wasn't sure even if Mbappe scored, he's going to score that penalty, to be honest. And then I was like, okay, Vinny's going to score this, but no.
We're not great, right? We don't have that like 90% taker on this team, right? Mbappe's like mid-80s, I want to say, right? Like we're just not quite there, but be that as it may. Oh, and I also want to shout out Carreras. What a howitzer for that 4th goal. Oh man, did that have pace? Dip upper corner. I was like, can you do this all the time, Carreras? Oh my God, please shoot more if that's in your bag.
The slow motion of that goal is just beautiful because he's just looking at the corner and he goes like, I know that he scored 3 goals. This was the first one for us, but damn, that was a beautiful goal. Really so beautiful.
It was great. Listen. And it felt so good for him. Like he loved it. His first goal in the Madrid shirt. Jude was so excited coming over to it. Like you could just, the first one. Everybody's happy for you. But yeah, if that's in his arsenal, look, let's do it, my man. I love it. We already love what he can do on that side, carrying the ball forward. And again, Carreras is only 22, and I think Loconte, he can get better, right? Like there are areas of his game that he can improve and develop, like into like elite quality. So this team is so young. I think the average age is 25 and a half. We're like either the youngest or second youngest team in La Liga. Like that's outstanding. Like the future's bright here in Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, every player really has an upside still, and that would even include Mbappe with some of the shots and what he's taking. There is still an area, tiny bit, that he can just get better on. But Carreras seems to have a bit to go with
Mhm.
his development, but so far, like he's been as steady and as important as we could have ever expected from a left back to be signed, knowing how long we have been crying for that spot to be filled. You know what was interesting today? Mendy was on bench, not
Yeah.
even considered.
Well, I mean, gosh, Mendy's still on this team, and I think he's got a contract through till 2027, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken. And it's like, well, if you're not, what are you going to do? We're going to sell. I mean, can this guy play? Like, what? We got to do something here. He's someone, you mentioned when we were looking at rotations, we got to get Carrera some rest. I don't know when it's going to happen. Fran. Clearly, Fran has fallen out of favor, or I don't like. He gets no run basically. I mean, a little bit here and there, but nothing substantial.
There are
Unless it's
a few players who kind of went down the pecking order, right? Gonzalo Garcia, Rodrigo, Fran, Mendy hasn't been there for a long time, but Carreras maybe defensively, not against Lamine Yamal. I think that's pretty much covered. But against, we need to see a little bit more on his defensive performance, how he defends when we're getting attacked. I think offensively he's superb. That's where Mendy comes in, right? Mendy against tough teams used to be a pretty solid rock at the back, right? Nobody could go past him.
Lockdown 1-on-1,
and he uses his upper body to shield players, right? To block play. I think maybe that's what Carreras, I think, he might be tested in the future against tough players, tough strikers, who's got that body strength to push you down. Maybe that's the test for Carreras.
Well, we'll see, right? At Anfield, right? They've got some pacey wingers and some guys who've got some skill, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that all
Do we
plays
know
out.
is Frimpong fit?
Was he on the bench today for Frimpong? Did he play?
No, he wasn't there.
He's out.
Yeah,
He's out.
They might be. They're a wounded team, right? Like as many people are dealing with injuries. I mean, so are we, right? Nobody's crying for anybody. Everybody's got injuries to deal with. Look, you show up with the guys you have, and these are all pros, and they're going to play hard, right? They're gonna try to win, right? They're gonna have the home crowd, but they're gonna be feeling good at Enfield. So we have to come with the right mindset.
What do you
Even
think
us,
about
every time we feel that we're putting the squad together, it just breaks somewhere. We have two right backs finally back fit, and we can finally start to rotate the midfield and actually mismatch
Carvajal gets hurt.
All is out again.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of midfield battle next game? Gravenberch and McAllister. These guys, they're pretty good at controlling.
Well, there's certainly better technical quality than anybody on Valencia, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's that. But honestly, I again, if our 4 Monstars start, and I know Valverde's playing as a right back, but if those 4 guys athletic, I'm not worried about that. I think we'll be fine in the midfield if those guys start, which I believe they will.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sound the nicest that I'm ridiculous right now. Florian Wirtz, it's probably the biggest danger for us because of how he moves and how he shields the ball. I know that he hasn't been perfect for Liverpool. I don't think their usage of him is perfect. I don't think he fits the whole scheme. But if it's a one-off and you're going to pick a player that you're going to really struggle against, it's probably going to be Florian Wirtz.
And he got some rest today, right? He started on the bench, so no doubt Arne Slot was like, "All right, we gotta."
I just think it doesn't fit what they're trying to do.
Oh, you think Slot's just like, why do we spend money on this dude? I don't.
Play is just a better fit for this team right now.
Wow. They spent a lot of money on Wirtz, man.
100 million.
Like, I mean, what the fuck?
No, I think given a time, he would get better. I think Premier League is a tough league, man. It's physical, and he needs to adapt, right, to that game. So probably we'll see him getting better, I think.
I mean, as we always say, Loconte, it's a little bit of everything, right? It's adaptation to a new league. It's new. So when you watch Wirtz in this Liverpool system, like if you had to break it down, and you say, is it more just him adjusting the Premier League, or is it more it's the style they play? It's not really suiting him best.
It doesn't suit him. It's not the league by any means. Like, I'm going to stand firm on this. Just get him to the right team. Send him to Manchester City, and you're going to see a completely different player. Arne Slot just doesn't know how to use him. Like, Alonso himself drew parallels between Wirtz and Güler. And if Güler can handle those things, why couldn't Florian Wirtz, who also has more experience at dealing with such adversity on top of it? So Arne Slot, I'll say this, like you said, the Carabao Cup match, he comes afterwards and he goes like, look at the lineups of Chelsea and Manchester City and compare it to mine. I had nobody on the bench. And I'm like, you guys just spent 400 million. What do you mean you have nobody? Look, it's a cop out. I think that he dropped words because today was do or die for him. Because imagine now you're not getting result against Aston Villa, then you're waiting for Real Madrid at home. That might not go as good as you want. Then what's happening to his job? Really? So yeah, I think
that's the talk right now. Is like, is Arne Slot on the hot seat? Right? Is he gonna get fired? It's like, man, you go from winning the league literally last season to I might not make it to Christmas. Like, what the hell, man? Nature of pro sports, baby. That's how it goes in the big times. Crazy. I just, again, the amount of money they spent on players who are good. Isak is good. Etik is good. Frimpong is good. These are all elite players. It's like, so that, again, to your point, is it you, coach, who doesn't know what you're doing? Like, how do you not figure out? Is he not pragmatic enough, Loconte? And two, I do things this way, dogmatic, and I don't know how to work with these other guys. It's like, come on, man, you got to adjust the talent you have.
He's also missing a certain right back that used to make his life much easier.
I was just gonna say, missing Trent yet, Liverpool fans? I mean, we're missing him too because we haven't seen him fully optimized yet either.
That Mallorca game is still in my brain. I just love that game because of Trent alone. He's just stuck there. And I'm like, can I get more of that? Like, I want to move past that game.
I know. Please let us just get. Well, listen, I think he'll probably play against Rayo, is my guess. He'll get some time against Rayo, is my guess. And then he'll get or maybe not. To your point, Loconte, he won't get any against Rayo either. He'll stay home for international break, work hard for 2 weeks, and then when we come back out of the break, then he'll start playing.
Also, Tuchel not calling Bellingham last time, even though Bellingham played, just because Bellingham didn't show the best physical capacities, has shown to be more than enough for Tuchel to be like, nope, I want only fully fit players. So maybe we see him against Rayo Vallecano. I can't say for sure, but I don't think, given the current circumstances, he's playing on Anfield, like, no chance.
Yeah, 0 chance. Tuchel will be calling Bellingham up this international break.
I don't think there's a choice. Like,
that's happening
back
now.
to being the best player in the England team, maybe with Kane.
Last break it was, can they go to the World Cup without Jude? He's not even any good. Now it's going to be like, the best player is back. Like, this shit is just so stupid. Yeah. It's just constant.
I'm looking at you, Daily Mail writers, who kept writing the same story despite the coach saying the complete opposite of what you were reporting. But anyways, it is what it is.
Oh, man. Do we think our friend De La Fuente calls up Carreras this international break?
Oh, that's my feeling.
I hope he doesn't. I don't want him to, but
who's the left back for Spain?
Spain?
Why can't I never say his last name?
Cucurella.
Right.
There's plenty of options.
Yeah.
Take all of them. It's fine. Listen, I know Carreras wants to go and wants to play. Everyone wants to play for our national team, so I don't want.
I think he's going to be called up.
Begrudge him that.
I think he's going to be called up.
But he needs some rest. My God. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts as we head towards Tuesday?
Thank fuck we got this one the way we did.
Was expecting this result today, right? Very, very poor Valencia, Madrid on the high, going to the Liverpool game. This is exactly what we need.
Yeah, 100%. We could not have asked for anything better. Players come out of this with an easy win. No injuries. We'll cross our fingers on Arda being okay and just being extra precautionary on him. And So we'll see you guys for sure on Tuesday this week after Liverpool. Sid and Loconte will be on that match most likely. We'll do the Friday show as always, and we'll have more content for you. Again, thank you all for tuning into the live stream. Please remember, like the video before you leave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share it with people. It's on Apple and Spotify later if you want the audio-only version. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye.